So it means the person who is listening to you, he should understand everything, whatever you say, whatever you talk in English. So it should not feel like you are speaking falsely. It should not feel like you use some difficult words. At the end, the aim of speaking or talking in English is that the person who is listening to you, he should understand you properly. He should be able to communicate with you well. If you will try to speak falsely, if you will try to use some difficult words, some tough words, you know what will happen? They will get confused, and eventually it will like define that you are not a good speaker, I mean good communicator. So don't aim at speaking those words which are difficult. Your main aim always should be to use your ideas effectively, which people can understand easily. Now, that is fluency in simple words. Fluency, what is it? It is ability to express your thoughts in English smoothly, clearly, and confidently without hesitation, without having any fear, because people should understand you. And the people who are fluent in English, people like to listen to them. Now, the people who aren't native speakers of English, they find difficulty in fluency. They are not always able to talk in English in a good way. Why? Because it is not their first language. They have to learn vocabulary, they have to learn some grammar, they have to learn like pronunciation and all other things. So that's why our second point is pronunciation. If you want to become a fluent speaker, you must know good pronunciation of words. And the ones who are native speakers of English, they are always good at pronouncing words. But the ones who are not native speakers, they sometimes mispronounce some words. And pronunciation is simply the correct way of saying words. For example, if there's a word, I used to mispronounce this word. It is vegetable. I used to read it like vegetable. It is not vegetable, it is vegetable. So it is pronunciation. Now, native speakers, if we had to learn pronunciation, we must listen to native speakers. And when we will continuously listen to them, eventually we will encounter with some words and we can save their pronunciation in our mind. Now you learn the pronunciation of it. There is one more term that is articulation. You might have heard this word, people saying that articulate it well. Your articulation skill is great. Articulation, again, it means pronouncing each sound clearly so that people can understand. For example, if I had to say you something like, do you want to go? Now, do you want to go? You can understand it properly. But other way of saying this is wanna go? I'll meet you. Wanna go? Wanna go? Now, this wanna go, it is a poor articulation thing because every person cannot understand it, especially the one who is beginner. If you will say to any person, do you want to go? He can understand. But maybe now the English of this person is poor. You will say him, wanna go? He'll be like, what is this person saying, wanna go? I have never heard it. So your articulation should be good. Every person should understand it. That's why you should not use those phrases, idioms, or difficult words which people cannot understand. Don't try to flex your English in front of those people who don't know English properly, especially when your motto is to explain something to them. If you are a teacher and you know English and your students, they are young, they don't know a lot of words, they don't know phrases and idioms, just try to use simple English so that they can understand. Otherwise, they cannot understand and it will become futile. Means it is simply wastage of time. You know, I remember a teacher, what he used to do, he used it to talk in English. But we were not understanding what he was talking. Why? Because he used to use some terms, some phrases, some idioms, some advanced level grammar. We were like, what is he talking about? So you need to consider this thing. Whenever you have to explain anything to any person in English, try to use simple vocabulary. Because if you will not do it, what will happen? People will not understand, and eventually it is wastage of time. Now, one thing which can make your speaking attractive to other people, we call that voice modulation. Now, what is voice modulation? It simply means you have to change your voice according to the emotion of, and meaning of the word. Different words have different emotions. And if you will maintain that those emotions, you know what will happen? It will become interesting. For example, some words show excitement, some show sadness. Like you wanna, if you have to say any story which is sad, at the time you should not look like you are excited, or it shouldn't look like you are happy. You're sad, just be softer, talk calmly. But if it is excitement, just be happy, like whatever will be the situation, be energetic. And similarly, if you have to ask questions, just raise your tone of voice because those words should speak. So this is voice modulation. And if you will not do voice modulation, it means you will maintain the same pace, same speed, same volume of every word. And eventually it will look boring. You're like talking in same way. For example, if I will give you a situation, if it is something uh, which can excite you, for example, you got good grades in your results. So if you have to call your father and you have to say him, I got good grades or I got selected for this thing. Hello, father, I got good grades and thank you very much for being with me every time. Like, what is this? You're like sad, but on the other side, if you will use same sentence differently and you will call your father because you are happy, you got selected for any job and you will now increase the pitch, you will increase the volume and you'll say, hello, father, where are you? I have good news for you. Do you want to know? Are you ready? I got selected for this thing. Like you can make it interesting. And that makes it in like amazing. So try voice modulation based on the words, based on the emotions, change the pitch, change the volume of your words. Now coming back to fluency, fluency it includes speaking without unnecessary pauses. You know, the people who are native, they always speak fluently because they have a lot of vocabulary in their mind. So they don't speak something which is unnecessary or they don't take those unnecessary pauses. Similarly, use the right words and it should feel like it is natural. It takes time and it should feel like you are thinking in English instead of translating. So don't memorize sentences, build a habit of thinking in English. So I believe one thing that it really takes time to master any language and we must read the literature in that language. We must listen to the native speakers of that language and eventually our mind will grab and catch the words, some pronunciation of words and all of the stuff and we will later become fluent in that language. Similarly, there is one more term, extempore. Extempore. Now, it is pronounced as extempore, extempore, extempore. Extempore means you have to speak on topic without preparation. If I will say you that your topic for today is discipline, talk about it. So without doing any research, without consulting any book or Google, if you can speak very well about discipline for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, means your this extempore speaking ability is good. Because without doing any research, without preparation, you are talking about that thing. Now, it needs knowledge. A person should be knowledgeable. He should have some basic knowledge about almost everything. And those people who are able to do it, they it means they have good knowledge. Now, one more term is eloquence. Eloquence means when you speak beautifully. You know, you have ability to persuade other people. An eloquent speaker, they do not necessarily use big words which people don't understand. They use simple words. And those simple words, they become powerful. For example, if you have to say to someone, never quit, never stop, The other word, other phrase for this thing to make it more eloquent, you can say every failure teaches you how to succeed. Now, the meaning is same, but the second one becomes more persuasive. The people who are great speakers, they use different phrases which are interesting. Now, those phrases are not difficult to understand, but people eventually love them, like those phrases. So, similarly, if you have to deliver any speech, instead of using some common phrases, try to replace them with different phrases, but it should be easy for others to understand those things. Now, last term, and before like moving back to our how to speak fluently, you must know this last term. It is rhetoric, rhetoric. Rhetoric, it is again the art of persuading people. Like you persuade people, you influence them through language. Now, if your this rhetoric's ability is good, you can become a leader. You can persuade people for anything. So you have to focus on this thing. Some people are good at influencing people using any language. Some use their mother tongue, some use English. So rhetoric, it is art of persuading people, convincing people using language. For example, instead of saying education is important, we can paraphrase it like this. See now, if I will say you, if education isn't important, why do successful people never stop learning? Now, this thing, whatever I said, if education isn't important, why do successful people never stop learning? It eventually means that education is important. So instead of saying education is important, if you have good rhetoric skills, you will say, if education is not important, why do successful people never stop learning? So in that rhetoric, what people do, they use questions. You have to use questions to like people should gain that curiosity in whatever you talk. Similarly, you can use stories, you can repeat something, you can use some emotions. Those people who are good at persuading people, they do it. They use questions, they use stories, they repeat some phrases, they use emotions, and people get influenced. Now, coming back to our main topic, how to speak English fluently. Now, it's not just a task for one day to learn this fluency in just a day or a week or a month. It is a process. It is a systematic process which will take time for those people who don't know how to speak English fluently. There are some steps. First step is you must know English. You must know some basic words. You should not have fear. If you have fear, even if you know all the words, you cannot speak fluently. So leave that fear. Don't fear any person and know some basic English, know some basic grammar, some pronunciation, which you will use in fluency. Now, after it comes turn for fluency. Now, I told you it's a long process. It will not happen in just a day, a week, or a month, or 6 months. Initially, you may fumble, you may hesitate, you will be like, I forgot everything, I forgot my script, I don't know what to talk, I forgot my topic. There are a lot of people, they say these things, we forgot what we have to talk because they fear situations or they overthink what if we failed. So, first, the principle of fluency is you have to leave this fear. If you have fear, then you cannot speak fluently. And second thing is, as it is a long process, so in this long process, you have to listen to those people who speak fluently. Second thing is you have to practice. You have to practice when you are alone. You can talk with yourself in your room, talk aloud. So for months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, when you will do it for 6 months, 8 months, eventually you can see progress. For example, if I will compare myself with my version of 2024, at that time, was I able to speak this way? No. I lacked pronunciation. I lacked vocabulary. I lacked. Maybe I was hesitating sometimes. I used to have that fear inside of me. So I was not able to talk in English very well. Then, if we will move to 2025, that year I improved. I saw improvement because I was reading books. I learned some words. I learned pronunciation. I learned this from the native speakers. I was listening them on YouTube. I was watching videos. I was doing writing. Now coming to 2026, I can see improvement. 1 year before, probably I used to have fear at some situations, but today I cannot see that fear. Yeah, there are some limitations which I know, but there is improvement as compared to 2026. Sorry, 2025. I know better pronunciation. I have gained better confidence. Sometimes now these days it feels like I am speaking it naturally as it isn't my first language. But 1 year before, 2 years before, 3 years before, it was like it is natural. And for sure, I know in 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, at the time, it will feel like I'm a native speaker of English because everything will come naturally as I read books, I talk in English with people, I do writing. So these things will improve me. So that's why this fluency, it is a long-term process and we have to continuously work on it. How you can work? You can listen to native speakers, you can do journaling, write your thoughts, you can talk in English. Even if you are not confident, try it. Even if your pronunciation is not good, try it. You will learn. Later, you will learn pronunciation. But the first step is try. Leave that fear. If you fear people, what people will think, what if we fumble, what if we hesitated, what if we forgot, then you cannot move forward. So that is the basic script, like the basic lesson of how to speak fluently English. And voice modulation is important. You know, if you want then to make it great, to make it impressive, even if you have good fluency, then put stress on some words. Your words should define the emotions of whatever you speak. Sometimes raise your pitch, sometimes lower it down. It should feel sometimes you are angry, sometimes you are sad, sometimes you need to be loud, sometimes slow. And over the time, it becomes good, it becomes perfect. It becomes perfect. Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay,
I think
I
we
thought,
all are stuck. Am I audible?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, how pretty explained, and I think everyone just got stuck there in your modulation, in your speaking way. Yeah, see, yes.
Mm,
So, what
thank
should
you.
we talk about it? Yeah, it's
Now it is your
it's
turn to
our pleasure
motivate
to
me
listen to
for
you.
how. Now it is your turn to motivate
Uh,
me for how I can improve more.
see, I'm not on
Go.
higher level at speaking in English.
You're good at speaking English.
But not like you. But the thing is, I never do comparison. So, okay, so if I will have to speak like how to speak in English, so first I would say one thing. Like I often listen. Maybe I listen from your side sometimes. Like these people who are saying we do not need to learn grammar as structure. Because we just need to do practice. But I would say we need grammar. We need some structure, like how to make sentence, and people just comparing with their native language, like in a native language there's no any structure, there's no any grammar. So I would say no, there is structure, there is grammar. Like their parents and their are circumstance people, they know how to like articulate, how to speak and that sentences. So like gradually and without intentionally we learn a lot of grammar structure. So yes, for us speaking English, we need some grammar, like some tenses, like how to make sentences, and some degrees, I would say, some portions. Okay, this is all about grammar, but okay. One thing I really want to say, which I notice often from the Indian people, like there is so many things by English, like there is so many which we adapted in our constitution, in our economic, in our geopolitical things. We adopted very things, but when it's come to on speaking English, they just say like Japani people, Chinese people, Russian people, they don't want to learn English. Why should we? So I would say, see, this has become our international language. Like even you are going for searching any kinds of scientific, any kinds of learn from the computer science learning. So that all is made in a like English language. So we need to learn English, and it's not about like boredom. It's just it's yeah, we can say just art of persuasion, persuasions. I would say like how you convey your thoughts to other and just take it easy this language, like okay, this is just the English language. It's not about like its language is so much superior, but the conveying, but the so you're now we are like in what can you say, we can add up this English with confidence, but the thing is it's just a language. So we should not like think about it like how to speak. Okay, and what I just want to sit thinking about it, I forget. Yes. Like whenever we have to speak any kinds of topics, we always compare ourselves to others. So okay, comparison is good, but the thing is, you just need to think like how much that person has done in their past in a previous day to achieve this milestone to speaking in English and to speaking in Hindi, like any kinds of whatever you are having in native language. So everyone is practicing, even you are practicing your native language day by day. Like if I say to you, like tell me about your mother without thinking in your native language, so you like you're still facing it. So like, okay, what can I say about my mother's? Okay, she's like that. So see, I feel like English is okay, language is okay, but thing is we need to gain knowledge about any kind of topic. Like how could you present your any topic? So I feel like English is good, like any kinds of language is good, but the thing is we need to get more knowledge, know more knowledge about your books, about your degree, about your whatever you are having any kinds of graduate things. That's matter. Like if you have knowledge, so maybe you feel like okay, how could I say about this topic? But through this hesitation, you can evaluate this topic. But without knowledge, you can't. So I would say like get a knowledge, more knowledge. Not about only English. Yeah, you can say like yeah, it's just your tool and to achieve any kinds of goal. But the thing is, whenever you have to speak any kinds of language, so we need some good knowledge about any topic. And another thing I would say, like yes, like all Indians should have like adopt this English open-heartedly because it has become internationally language, so we need. And I believe it like what nothing. What can I believe? Like we can okay. I can't think more about it. Yes, there is some articulation, pronunciation. Let it be. Just speak it. And slowly you can get idea, more idea, how to speak, how to represent yourself over the people, over the basic, any kinds of things. I hope I was able to explain something and I hope I was audible to you people.
Yeah, it was good to listen to you. You presented some wonderful points. And one thing which I liked is like a person must have knowledge of different subjects if you want to be fluent. Because when you are fluent speaker, you just get pointers from different subjects, from different topics, and you don't hesitate because you have words, you have knowledge, and that gives you confidence.
Yeah.
So we have now other people also here. Dot dot, comrade, Shiva, Toby, Harshit. If you have some points
Can I
regarding
speak?
it or any question, you can ask. Yeah,
Is I am audible?
yeah, you are clearly audible.
So today topic is how to speak English with fluency. So I have a perspective like when we born in a particular community, we have already have a native language. We don't first learn the grammar of the language. We just flow by seeing the movement or technique of the technique of your guardian, so we understand our language effectively. And by gradually we learn something point and marking it day by day. With the help of this, we can make ourselves a inner grammar. I think it is not as perfect as the original grammar of the native language, but it is more valuable because it can help you to make the sentences. The first thing is, should we learn grammar for speaking English? I have a point. Like, if you want to eat a dinner, just go there. Don't think how these dishes are made up, how the ingredients are taken in the dishes. Just eat there, and you gradually, when you know everything, you eat perfectly. That is the point. When we try to learn English, okay, your point is valid. Grammar should learn, but not at earlier phase. In first phases, we should only learn to make sentence in English. Grammar is coming towards effectively while learning in English. Grammar is not the most important part of speaking English. Communication is the main goal. Many people speak fluent English with imperfect grammar, yet they are easily understood. Confidence, vocabulary, pronunciation, and regular speaking. Practice matter more in the beginning. Grammar can be improved gradually through use rather than being mastered before speaking. The grammar is a structure in which we can put a language so that we understand the language better. But the thing is, grammar is not very much important for speaking English. The main goal of English is communication. If you speak something and another person understand your simple English without without commenting on your imperfect grammar, that is all right. Every person is not perfect. Iterate and practice is a core, but needed is needed structure, but not at earlier phase. First, we have to develop the step by step pointing English, like making sentence, and then slowly, gradually, we understand what mistake we have done. We don't directly go for the grammar and learn English.
Okay, let me
Like
talk.
if
Let me
you,
talk about this point. See,
okay,
I will talk about this point.
wait,
First,
I have just
uh,
one point I have also want to add.
okay,
In native language, we generally don't learn grammar. We just learn how to speak. That's why if you want to speak English, first try to speak and then learn grammar. I am done. You can speak.
okay, these were great points. Now, coming back to this grammar thing, grammar is simply the set of rules which you use while talking in English. For example, the rule is you must know where to use is, when to use is, and when to use are. If it is a singular person, use is. If it is more than one, then use are. This is grammar. Now, if you don't know where to use is and where to use are, you cannot be a good English speaker. You will say he are good boy, they is good players. So what you have done, you haven't followed the proper grammar. First of all, grammar is important. Another thing is learning grammar. how to learn grammar. Grammar is structure, it is a rule. You have to learn it. But the thing is, the question is how to learn it. If you want to learn it, then you should not follow that conventional path. For example, you will go to tenses, present tense, past tense, future tense, perfect tense, past perfect, present perfect, whatever is there. If you will start to learn that way, then you will shift it to narration, you will shift it to some other topics, you will shift it to subject to verb agreement. They are wonderful topics. You must know those rules. But learning that way, it is lengthy process. It will take years for a person to learn English. So according to me, the best way and the quickest way, now quickest doesn't mean it will happen in 1 month. The fastest way, like at least in 1 year, you will be good in any language. I'm learning Spanish language. I'm not learning grammar. What I do is I listen to those phrases, I listen to sentences, and I check their translation. And I listen to those people who are talking in that language with subtitles, with captions in English. So eventually, what happens? I grab some words, I grab sentence formation, and then I see some change in self inside of me that I am able to improve. So I don't follow that conventional method, conventional way of reading those rules one by one, one by one. If we will read those rules one by one, we cannot remember them. There are hundreds of rules in English. If I will give you a book, what will you do? You will memorize those words. You will try to apply them. But at the end, you will fail because you cannot memorize quickly. So best way is to listen to those people who talk in English, and with that thing you will train your mind. Whatever you listen, you train your mind with that knowledge. If you will listen to some good English speakers, with those words, with their speech, you will train your mind. Your mind will grasp some words, some pronunciation, some sentence formation, some phrases, and eventually you will use them. You might have noticed I often use this eventually word. Maybe I have learned it from someone. I also use often. I have learned it from someone. So listen to those people who are speaking in English, who are native ones. It will help you to improve. And if you want to follow that conventional path, you can go, but it is lengthy process. It is for those people who are studying in school. They have time, they can study, they have whole one class for it every single day. They can learn it point by point. But at the end, what matters is you must know how to speak. If you will just learn grammar, you will not know how to speak. It is something which you have to practice, which you have to use every single day. When I was studying in school, I used to study grammar, but I never knew how to talk in English. I never knew how to write sentences. I was not able to write one single paragraph. Why? Because I only learned those grammatical rules which were written in those books. Then I use it to prepare for exam, where to use is, where to use am, tenses, narration, subject to verb agreement, parts of speech. But then after school, I started learning, listening to those people who were good at English, and that helped me. So listen to those. If you want to become fluent, if you want to become good at speaking, listen to the people who are good at speaking. You know, the power of influence. If you listen to those people who are good, you'll get influenced. There's a quote, you are some of those people with whom you spend your time. If you will spend your time with good people, there are high chances you will become good. If they are bad, there are high chances that you will learn some bad activities from them and you will follow them no matter how good you are. Similarly, if you will spend your time with those who are good at speaking, there are high chances that you will learn that speaking from them. On the other side, if you will be with those people who don't know how to communicate, who are silent, who use wrong English, you will learn from them that wrong English, wrong pronunciation, and eventually you will not become good at speaking English. You will not become a good orator. You will not get good pronunciation. You will not know how to form good sentences, good phrases. So listen to those people who are good at speaking. Maybe you will not understand. if you don't know English very well, sometimes you cannot understand. You can at that time go to Google, go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, what does this mean? And ChatGPT will answer you that the phrase which this person used in this video, it means XYZ thing. And eventually you can save that, or you can just read that, and that will train your mind and you will remember things. Now, again, remembering doesn't mean, for example, if you encountered with any word, now you checked its meaning, like for sure, many times you will forget the meaning. Don't worry about that. If you will not use that word, then you will definitely forget that. But the thing is, those words which you use every single day, you will never forget them. That is why you should have hold on those basic words. Whatever I talked, whatever I used till now, it was basic. I didn't use any like high-end vocabulary, because I know if I will use different vocabulary, then you cannot understand, and eventually it is wastage of time. So why should I focus more on remembering those difficult words which I will never use? There are thousands of words in English dictionary which are tough. Why will I try to memorize them and use them? So whenever you encounter with difficult word, you can check its meaning to understand the meaning of that sentence and then continue. And if you will encounter with that word again and again, then you will remember that automatically. If you will meet with any word just for 2 times, maybe you'll forget it. If you will see that word again and again in that book, like 20 times, 50 times, no matter you have whether you have encountered with that word or not before, you will remember it because you saw it 100 times in the book. So in a nutshell, listen to people who are good at speaking English. That's what I did. Now we have other people too. You can unmute. Okay, earlier dot was asking in group, actually writing in group that, wait, I need to get that message. I need to read that message, exact words. I liked that message. Yeah, let us try to create this type of group for the better future of us, because being able to speak in English at the time will bring a lot of opportunities. Before we join the biggest community, we need to be a well articulated speaker. I can rest assured that this group will be room for us. So our aim is same. Every person who joins us, every person who is here, he should become a good English speaker. Not just only speaker, he should have good knowledge. That's why we get some wonderful topics every single day. Different people try to speak on those topics so that the ones who are here, they should learn. Our main focus is not just to talk about that bookish knowledge, that knowledge which we rarely use in day-to-day life. Our main focus is to talk about the points, about the topics which are practical, which we use every single day. For example, today the topic was how to speak English fluently. The best way is leave fear and listen to those people who speak fluently, practice it. Initially, you will feel hesitated, you may fear, but go through that. You have to go through that. And eventually, after 1 year, you can see improvement. After 2 years, again improvement. After 3 years, you'll be better than first year. Now, similarly, yesterday our topic was different. And day before yesterday, our topic was different. Like yesterday, our topic was analysis paralysis, how to choose something which is when the situation is when it is difficult for us to choose things, how to choose at that time anything when we have different options and every option seems good. So it is practical thing with which you can encounter every single day. Again, tomorrow we will have same type of topic, which is practical. So try to join these VCs whenever you get time. And if you want to host a session, if you have any topic, you can come. Now, hosting doesn't mean you have to talk continuously for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You can only just talk about 15 minutes. Then rest of the people will share their points, their views. They can ask you questions. You can ask them questions. So that is it. Now you can also talk. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes. What about
Okay.
the food?
What? Shall we wind up?
Yeah, you should. Is anybody want to speak something else? All over the world, everybody talking about Indian spice.